know, nonstop Vikings talk. It's Purple Daily on Score North and ScoreNorth.com. Purple Daily, presented by Surly Brewing Company.
You can combine staying current and using your experience, then you got something. And that's my intention. So what I do, I listen to young people, and I seek and I put energy into learning them. My sons are coaches, and they're at a younger age, and they played. And I ask them a lot of things because the views have changed. And people that get up here and say, well, these kids have changed, and this and that. People have always been changing, since the beginning of time. And it's our job as leaders to work to relate.
I love that.
Ed's bald now. He looks good.
Dude, Ed, so he had hair when you covered him?
Yep.
20 years ago, whatever?
Yep. He used to have hair. Looks good, though.
He is a football man, but with, it sounds like, some modern and flexible views on teaching and leadership. It's great. You can be 65 and not be a dinosaur that rags on everybody. I know that might come as a surprise to some former Vikings head coach.
Phil?
Not here to blame Mike Zimmer for all the Vikings problems, but breath of fresh air to get some new leadership and viewpoints in here. This is Purple Daily, daily Vikings entertainment. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die. That's our motto on this show. And the show is presented by our friends at Surly Brewing Company and TCL, which has a new lineup of award-winning TVs delivering the most entertainment with stunning resolution, all at an affordable cost. Enjoy more of the things you love with TCL. Every week, I know you guys do this early in the week, and then we all come together. Purple Daily reads the comments. Score North app is a great place to send us feedback. You can also hit us up in the YouTube comments section, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook for the Score North accounts. So let's start with this one here. Actually, we had a lot of Kellen Mond related questions, which, it's for a guy that's been in the football witness protection program since he was drafted, basically. Yeah. A lot of people are still kind of curious, interested, and wondering. So Josh Salvino chimes in and says, this is via the Score North app, have you guys looked up the draft profiles on Kellen Mond and Dak Prescott? I did some research and found that when comparing and looking into their strengths and weaknesses, they're actually very similar in a lot of ways. Where the bulk of what was needed out of college was mechanics. Kellen Mond deserves an opportunity to show us what he can actually do. If the Vikings could have a cheaper version of Dak Prescott, I would think you would take that. So we actually got a few of these, and some people sent a link to a YouTube breakdown from early February that shows it's kind of the tale of the tape and some film study and stuff, and a lot of the things that were being said about these guys, even down to their measurements, like height, weight, hand size. That's right. I said hand size.
Football.
Dante. Important.
Right.
Important. Small hands are bad.
Are very similar. And I don't know, I guess, what are your reactions to the Kellen Mond, Dak Prescott comparisons?
My only reaction to the entire Mond subject is this. I am very excited to see what's there. And he might be crappy. I have no idea. In my opinion, no comparisons, because we have no idea. As far as we know, he got lost in the proverbial shuffle of the miserable season that was the 2021 Vikings. Does that mean that they decided he's terrible? Maybe. I don't know. But they're all gone now. And so I am just excited to see what's here. I mean, he's a third-round pick. If I'm not mistaken, he was taken one pick ahead of Davis Mills of the Texans, right? Mm-hmm. Who is going to enter 2022. And he, I don't know if he's good or not, but he's going to go into next season as their starting quarterback. And so, look, I mean, the thing that I thought was incredibly unfair when it came to Mond was the judgment of, well, did you see those 3 snaps against the Packers? He wasn't practicing. He didn't have a chance. So I am very excited with competent coaches, especially probably when it comes to quarterback play, Phil, to see what exists here, because I don't think it's fair to say he's going to be great, but it's certainly not fair to say he's a bust. We have no idea.
Yeah. Yeah, I love this comparison. A couple guys that, they played big time, big conference college football in both cases. So they played against the best of the best in college. They're both big-bodied guys, right? 6'3", 6'4", 220 plus pounds. So you don't have to worry about taking too much of a beating on a small frame. So I love some of that stuff, and I agree. I mean, I just keep going back to the Vikings had Mike Zimmer and fresh-faced Clint Kubiak in charge of their entire offensive operation, right? I mean, Mike Zimmer would barely even showed up, could barely meet with the starting quarterback, let alone work with the backup developmental guy. So get some guys in here who can actually, and I don't want to, it's not that Kellen Mond wasn't developed at all last year. Like that's that's an overstatement. But I mean, I'm sure they worked with his mechanics to some extent and whatnot. But like, I feel like you got some pros coming in here now, like some guys that come over from that Rams offense, the Sean McVay coaching tree. They're going to have a vested interest in growing the quarterback position for the present and the future. And Kellen Mond should be a byproduct of that development. We still don't know what his peak is. I'm not going to say, well, look, he's got the same hand size as Dak Prescott, and they look kind of similar on film, so therefore he's going to be Dak Prescott. But he is a variable here. He is someone that, after last year's draft, all of us thought, okay, there's like a 30% chance he could be a starting quarterback for the Vikings, maybe even more at some point, and then we'll see if it pans out. So I'm very curious to see where this goes. There's another Mond one here real quick. Matthew Sims on the Score North app says, why do you guys keep saying that Mond had a horrible drive against Green Bay? Go back and watch the drive. There were 2 Kirk-like checkdowns followed by an awful pass right to the defense. One bad pass in a season doesn't seem like much to totally go on. No, of course.
Mike said that.
He looked bad, and then Mike threw him under the bus.
Yeah, I'm joking about what Zimmer said.
Mike sees him at practice too, and we don't see him at practice, so it's possible that he looked bad at practice too.
Yeah.
But to your point, nothing we saw in that game, you almost have to just flush all of last season. It's unfortunate. He's on a 4-year rookie scale contract. He makes less than $1 million. And so if you were going to play him, it'd be nice to maximize his rookie scale contract, and you have to flush 25% of that completely down the toilet.
Yep.
But yeah, I guess one more question here too is, where would he rank? I've seen this a few times. Where would he rank among this year's draft prospects? And maybe we can ask our guy Tyler Fornes from NBC Sports Edge. I think he'd be behind Malik Willis and probably be behind Pickett in a lot of people's rankings.
Yeah, I agree.
But he would probably be higher than the 5th or 6th on last year's list, right?
Yes.
So he'd probably be like 3rd or 4th.
Yeah, I don't think he would be. So if he entered the draft of 2022, I don't think he's a first-round pick. I think he might sneak in if a team was desperate to the late 2nd round instead of the 3rd. But yeah, I am extremely excited across the board to see a lot of the 2021 draft class because I don't think we saw them.
Yeah. All right, next question here. Purple Daily reads the comments. David Lindell via the Score North app says, I love that you guys brought up Jared Goff's stats. A lot of Kirk stans think that Kirk's the next Matthew Stafford under Kevin O'Connell. I'm of the opinion that Kirk is closer to Goff than Stafford. The reason I brought up the Goff stats was to highlight the work that the Sean McVay coaching tree has done. That now that we've seen Goff 1 year before Sean McVay under, was it Jeff Fisher?
Yes.
And then 1 year now with the Lions, and he has barely won any games. His numbers fell off the cliff. His QBR went from like above average to one of the worst in the NFL when he's not with the Sean McVay and Kevin O'Connell infrastructure.
Right.
And so I think I brought that up less as like a comparison to Kirk and more to say, hey, if they move off Kirk, look what they did with Goff. Like you can pretty much bring any quarterback in and they're going to make him look like he's going to be a 4,500 yard passer.
Kirk in no way, shape, or form is Goff. It's not even close.
He's better than Goff.
Kirk is way better than Goff. Kirk is better every single day than Goff. Goff was completely, as far as what those statistics reflected from his time with McVay, propped up. Kirk needs propping up, but talent-wise, that's the thing I think that ultimately confuses people and why it's frustrating and partially why, as a football player, Kirk is polarizing. Because Kirk Cousins has a boatload of talent. Jared Goff doesn't. Kirk Cousins has a boatload of talent. But the hardest thing to then quantify is the actual brain, competitiveness, ability to handle stresses. Like that gets into shades of gray that people don't like. But talent-wise, I would never compare Kirk to Goff. That's a complete insult to Kirk.
Yeah. Well, Goff's talented. I actually think the mental side for Goff is probably like they're actually a little bit similar in that way that Goff was talented enough to be the number 1 overall pick.
Yeah.
And was talented enough to be sort of like puppeted into a Super Bowl quarterback. But there's some mental stuff missing there too, and some leadership stuff missing. So to me, they are comparable a little bit. But Cousins is more. Give me Cousins' physical traits to the way they've developed over the years.
Yep.
Just to be clear. All right, Firestein on Twitter says Mackey is a K-fan reject and streams YouTube from his mom's basement.
Whoa! Your mom's dead. That's brutal.
My mom died. Okay, so.
Yeah. My parents are both dead, so I'm going to tell you right now, I ain't in their basement.
Also,
Declan's parents dead.
My parents
I will
in a
say,
nice basement. I would love to still be in that basement.
12 years ago, I turned down a full-time offer at the Fan to join 1500 ESPN. So the K-Fan is a Phil Mackey reject. Okay,
Damn it! Yeah,
Can you
print that?
Can you prove that, Phil?
That's right.
Can you prove that?
I actually can. Yeah. K-Fan is a Phil Mackey reject.
Wow.
Print it.
Woo!
He couldn't throw a football across a phone booth, and yet he's breaking down Cousins because of wins and losses, which aren't an individual stat in a team sport. It's pathetic, and it needs to stop.
I threw a nice spiral. I don't know about Mackey.
Wow,
I threw a nice little 5-10 yard
I
spiral.
want to know about the plans to stop this. Like, is this?
I don't actually want to know what.
Do you need a bulletproof vest?
Is no, going to show up at my door?
Yeah, that'd be bad.
I might. There are some. I mean, there are some crazies out there, man. There's some crazies. So Firestein,
Mackey, it's the last thing I do.
Listen, Firestein, just get your facts straight, okay? Just get your facts straight.
Not a K-fan reject.
No.
Big T-shirt.
They're a Phil
I am
Mackey
not a
reject.
K-fan reject.
Let's see. Anthony Thomas via the Score North app says, "Hey, I need to vent." You've come to the right place. I am done with these Cousins Crusaders. And he used a couple other words I will not say here. It is mind-blowing the mental gymnastics they do to explain his shortcomings. From the research I've gathered, he needs an elite O-line, elite receivers, elite running backs, elite tight ends, elite defense, elite kicker, an elite coach, an elite play caller, and an indoor stadium with the best facilities in the NFL and $30+ million. And then we can see how good he truly is. Then he needs to see if he has eligibility to go to Bama, and it's not doable in the NFL. He keeps going on. Let's see. What kind of thought process is this? I'm so sick of all the losers who are terrified to move on from this less quarterback.
Okay. That's a lot.
I'm sorry. He said genitalless quarterback. He misspelled it, but
oh boy,
that's a little over the top. It's not happy.
Just to be crystal clear on this point, though, I have no problem debating Cousins with Vikings fans. Like, if you're a Vikings fan and you like Kirk, that's cool. That's great. Like, let's go.
We all want the Vikings to win, right? Yeah.
The only line to me that continually gets crossed, and it's very hard to tell, especially in a forum like Twitter, is people who aren't Vikings fans but are Kirk fans.
Yeah.
That's where it's frustrating, because then they'll just not care about the team. And then it's just a stupid, it's like, if you don't care about the Vikings and just care about the player, like, don't come at me. I'm not going to engage. But if you're a Vikings fan and you're like, I think Kirk is great and we shouldn't get rid of Kirk, that's a great debate.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
I'm not lumping them all together is what I'm saying.
Right. I think to his last point here not about the genitalless quarterback thing. All right, that's a little over the top. But when he says, the people that are terrified to move on, I do sense that. I think that there's, to me, it seems that there's more of a fear of, how bad could it get? We don't want to be the Jets. We don't want to be the Lions. There's this fear of that as opposed to this hunger to win a Super Bowl.
Yes.
That needs to change.
I agree with that, but at least that's a debate. What I don't like is Kirk, and you're like, do you care about the Vikings? And they're like, yeah. That's the debate. If you are, I mean, hell, Phil, the Wilfs are afraid of being bad. Like they're like, but we're winning 8 or 9 games. So like the Wilfs fear that. That to me is a conversation. I don't agree that fear should exist, but it's the
Declan froze again.
Oh man. He always freezes in good spots, though. He always looks good. I look like this. my mouth is agape. My eyes are too. But yeah, I enjoy the Kirk debates with people that actually want to debate for the good of the Vikings.
Yeah. All All right, Tim in Virginia via the Score North app says, love the shows, longtime Viking fan in misery since 1968.
Wow.
Would love to hear your take on this. What would you rather have and take a chance with? A quarterback who has great stats, plays well, and gets the job done for the most part, but just can't quite get over the top? Or a quarterback who maybe doesn't have the best of skills, but the team loves him, rallies around him, and the other players elevate their play because of him and his personality? I'm sure you see where I'm going with this. I'd love your opinions on this. I was also wondering if Judd could recommend a good drink while I'm watching the show.
Oh, you know what? That is a great question. In fact, I'm going to take that question first because it is Saturday. It's Saturday, and right now you're thinking to yourself, I got some sports to watch tonight, and last time I looked, the refrigerator is empty. What should I do, Judd? And I'm going to tell you right now, Zolgad to the rescue, because the first Surly variety pack of 2022 is out. And you know what? There's one at your local liquor store that has your name. I don't know what your name is, but whatever it is, your name is written.
He just said it's Tim in Virginia.
On that. No, I'm talking to the listeners as a whole. Tim in Virginia. I'm talking to everybody
Hello.
here. Not just Tim. I'm talking to everyone. And we got that Surly variety pack.
Unless
for
you work in the office at
then I
the
don't know
Howard
your
Hallway.
name.
You have no idea.
Then I have
who
no
your name
idea
is.
what your
How are
name
you?
is. And I'm going to tell you right now.
I'm good.
No offense. I don't care. But anyway, so back to the Surly variety pack, of which I know all of those names. I know Furious, Havoc Machine, Ghost Empire, Dark Lager, all delicious. But may I recommend to you that the first beer that you take from that pack should be the Hyper Modern Idaho 7 IPA, a delicious beer. Surly has hit a home run there. Tim and everybody else, that's your answer.
Yeah. Love it. Love it. All right. So he's basically asking, would you rather have Kirk Cousins or Case Keenum, right? I mean, that's kind of what or Teddy Bridgewater. And I think you got to figure out, okay, what is that line? Like, I'd prefer a quarterback that people will rally around and is awesome. Joe Burrow.
Right.
Russell Wilson
Of
for
course.
a long time, I think, had those qualities. Brett Favre, we saw that in 2009. He was amazing, and they rallied around him. But I draw the line at some point. Like, I'd rather have Kirk Cousins than Case Keenum. But I love the way that the Vikings rallied around Case Keenum and built a great roster around a low contract, although Bradford was eating up some of that cap as well.
Correct.
So I don't know. What do you guys think? Like, to me, give me the guy that brings people together in football within reason. I can't. Like, Tim Tebow brought people together in the locker room, but couldn't complete a 14-yard pass. So there's got to be a line there somewhere.
Where is my team at, I guess, is the question. Like, for the 2022 team, I would prefer an inexpensive guy while I build back up to try and draft one. But to go back to 18, I understand completely what the Vikings and Spielman did at that time. And so I think it's very much depends on where you are as a franchise. But I would rather right now have the cheap QB so I could build my roster out. But I still think the sweet spot is this. You got to find one and draft one. Yeah. Like, at some point in time, you got to draft one. Like, this whole thing of the Cousinses of the world almost never become free agents to sign elsewhere. And if they do, there's a reason for it.
Yep.
So, like, that's not the norm.
Yep. What about you, Dex?
I from where the Vikings are at right now, I want the transition guy. And when people are afraid of, Kirk Cousins could be that bridge guy. Why would we downgrade to a Sam Darnold or even a Teddy Bridgewater, who's obviously probably in the middle between Kirk and Sam Darnold from where you are? Well, were you okay with being 7-9 beforehand? Because this team has won 7 games basically the last 2 years. So I'm not really that scared of finding someone else while I figure out my rest of my roster, because this defense needs work. The offensive line still needs help. You're in year 1 of a new head coach. If you want to move on and figure out something else to build up the next era of Vikings football, that's what you have to think. That's what you have to do.
Yeah. Got a few more here. Mark Edwards via the Score North app, as Purple Daily reads the comments. Absolutely love the show. I have felt so alone with my Vikings pain all these years living in Washington.
You're not alone.
You're not alone.
You're never alone.
You're not alone, Mark. You're not alone.
It's not your fault.
It's not your fault.
It's not your fault. Don't do this
It's
to
not
me.
your fault.
Don't do this to me, Dex.
It's so nice to hear I'm not alone with my anguish. I always figured y'all were out there just Just awesome to finally know it. Thank you for helping me distribute all of this pent-up frustration and not feel so secluded and not understood. Wow, Skol, baby. Mark, we got your back, dude.
Sports therapy is free, my man.
Got your back. All right, let's see here. Gabe Lucas via the Score North app says, delusional. One word to sum up the Vikings fan base right now. It's amazing how many Vikings fans think with the new coach, we just have to run it back. I heard the phrase, we are in win now mode today. I don't think enough fans understand the gravity of the situation, or at least haven't watched a single other team play football. We need to free up roughly $24 million in cap space just to be cap compliant and sign rookies. He's right. Probably $40 million just to sign a couple guys in free agency. And that's not like the big free agents, by the way. That's like, get another starting center or a guard or something, or a starting cornerback.
Yep.
We have a bad offensive line. It's promising, but it's bad. Our third best lineman is not a train wreck. That's sort of the state of the offensive line. Yeah. Our defense was bad last year. There's no qualifiers to that. And look how many players are aging. Smith and Kirk turning 34, Thielen 32, Pierce 30, Barr, Kendricks 30, Richardson 32, Patrick Peterson 32. Yeah, he's right about all these things. It's a disaster waiting to happen, is what he's saying. I mean, it's a lot of buzzkill truth there. Like he's
bravo.
Right. He's right.
Bravo. That's well written. That's exactly right. Well,
it's okay. So let's confront the truth.
I don't think it's a disaster unless, to his point, they ride it. They're too smart to. They are. Look.
Get young, get cheaper. Yeah.
There's a lot of confusion here because Mark Wilf said, hey, we can compete. We're going to be good. I'll go back to what I keep saying. What else is Mark going to say? We are going to suck. God, are we going to be bad? Oh, my God, don't buy tickets. It's his job to say that. It's your job to say, you probably aren't, but that's cool, too. And look, this is the National Football League. I believe this team can pop up and be fun next year. Mm-hmm. I don't think you're destined, but he's exactly right. If you ride this thing, if you truly said, oh, look, we're going to get guys back, this is going to be great. Patrick Peterson come on back and Barr and everybody come back. Yeah, he's right. It would turn into a disaster.
What would you rather see kind of is my question here. Would you rather see them basically run it back and with high expectations then, right? If they run it back, it's like, all right, I mean, it's Super Bowl is the expectation with a bunch of veterans and stuff. Would you rather do that and then just feel anguish all year as they come up short of the expectation and maybe get into the playoffs, but it's just a grind to get there? Or would you rather see a cleansing of, not everyone, but just like, let's say goodbye, trade a couple, and a punch of karma cleanse.
A punch of karma cleanse to the Vikings.
The 6 steps, right? But it feels fresh, and and maybe you still win 7 or 8 games or something in a weak division, and you're feeling like there's some upside.
A punch of karma cleanse of a football team. Today I'm going to throw up quarterbacks.
And today I'm going to. Can't say the word I was going to.
No, don't
do it.
Don't. That's why I used the oral issue instead of the other one.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
I got one more fun one here for you guys, but by the way, there is a way to lose like almost 40 pounds without a punch karma cleanse, and Joe has shown the audience.
There is indeed. It takes some patience, but it's effective, and it comes from my friends at Livia Weight Control Centers. Ladies and gentlemen, yesterday I went to the Tonka location to weigh in. I started around 240 pounds. I'm now 204 pounds. I love how
you and Minnetonka are on like a nickname basis. It's great.
The Minnetonka store. Katie's great. They are fantastic. I believe. Kate. If I'm not mistaken, it's 6 locations throughout the metro. But yes, the Tonka location, as I like to call it, is mine. But here's the exciting news, guys. What if I was to tell you that because of our show, people from Utah, Iowa, California, Texas, and New York have signed up? That's right. You don't need to be in this town to join a weight loss program that the first 8 weeks are free. So if you are watching us in, let's say, Florida. Let's get somebody from Florida, a Vikings fan. 855-GO-LIVEA, Livia.com, LIVEA.com. Join the Purple Daily family of people who have signed up from outside the metro and are shedding the pounds. Consultations done on Zoom. It's fantastic. Livia.com is the key to the weight loss.
Love it. Also, if you're a sports fan in the Twin Cities, St. Thomas is now Division I across football, basketball, and hockey. We've been carrying their games all year on Score North Radio in the Twin Cities, AM 1500. You can check out ticket packages for single game and also, as we go forward, season ticket packages at TommySports.com. That's TommySports.com. All right, let's go to this last one here from Kip via the Score North app, loyal listener. All right, so you guys have been drafted by the XFL or USFL. So we have been drafted. You have to survive one series of a professional football game, and you make $100,000, right? Or whatever it is. Which position, and you can't be kicker, holder, or long snapper, but you have to play a
I don't want
position
those either.
for a series.
I'm with Dak.
Offense
don't
or
want any of
defense?
Yeah.
I'm
playing defense.
safety.
Just
No,
play
safety
safety and
seems-
play safety and run back.
Yep, I'm good. Good.
No, you know what though? No. So I get your point, Dex, but here's the problem. The problem is it's safety.
I got to tackle.
Well, and you're exposed to blindside hits. Because like if you do something wrong, you're in the middle of that field. I would play corner because I'm on the outside then, and I would basically allow the guy to run by me, and I'm outside, so I can get out of bounds to avoid the entire play. I don't want to put myself in anywhere where a guy who is more athletically inclined than me, which is the rest of the world, could hit me in the middle of the field.
I would.
That worries me.
I think I would just play right guard like Oli Udo and either hold on for dear life or just move out of the way entirely. I think that's what I would do.
I don't know that you could, but then you might get hit again. See, I'm trying to think
I'm
of
just gonna move.
how can I get myself outside?
But you're going to get quick jammed by the wide receiver's going to push you, Judd, and you're going to go 7 yards. Like you're going to.
What if I played receiver and ran out in my route?
Receiver would be my second one.
Went to the
Yo,
bench.
but you get jammed. You get jammed at receiver too. A
That's
cornerback
true,
would come up and.
I think
and
as the
end
corner, I would allow the receiver to get past me because he wouldn't want to jam me. His goal would be to elude me, thinking I would jam him. Right?
Why not play quarterback, shotgun formation, and the ball comes out immediately, no matter what?
No.
The ball is
No.
just out.
Okay. What this proved 2 years ago in Denver, this was genius. And it proves everyone else's point that no, you cannot complete a pass. Joe Schmo, you can't. Remember when the Broncos quarterback room all got decimated by COVID?
Yeah.
And they had to bring up their practice squad guy who was like some quarterback slappy at Colorado State, and he completed 0 passes.
Yeah.
A college quarterback who had experience throwing football was plugged into an NFL game and completed 0
Phil doesn't
passes.
care. He's just throwing it.
Yeah, I'm not interested in completing
you might
pass.
get
I'm
hit.
interested in the money that
You're
I
gonna
get
die.
for completing the series.
Don't play a position where you can get hit. I feel like at corner I get blown by and then I go out of bounds and now I'm out of the play. Like a quarterback,
Just hit the deck.
You could deliver the ball quickly and it's gone, and some huge human being could still take the flag and hit you.
Yeah. Oh,
I
that's-
don't want
that's
that.
A tough question.
And
man.
safety, I might get hit from the blind side. Oh man, if you got hit in the back, your life would be over.
Yeah, safety is tough because if you're going to actually try and make a tackle, you're going to get trucked because someone's going to have like a 10-yard head start. You're running full speed.
And you
at
still might get trucked just for the sake of being trucked. Like, where would you not get hit? That's what I'm trying to say.
I know.
No, you wouldn't. You'd be dead. What are you? Dex, you weigh like 175. You'd be killed.
No, I'm quick. I'll avoid it.
You're not that quick. These
Yeah,
guys are.
strike, scream, run. I'm fine.
Yeah, thanks, Baldy.
That's Purple Daily reads the comments here every week on Purple Daily. Daily Vikings entertainment. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die.